Hello and welcome to the newest episode of Sadie and Shawn Have No Friends. And it's brought to you by our friends, our presenting sponsors at Tallent Co Real Estate. Just go to homeandnoco.com. We'll talk more about that later. Shawn, how are you today?
Oh, I'm just pleasant, Sadie. I cannot wait for this episode today. Never know what you might have up your sleeve. Let me preface this episode because I know people jump around and I know people jump in and they jump out. And sometimes you can just kind of pick up wherever, but there's other times where you have to listen to a certain episode to understand the current episode. And this today will be one of those times. And so if you have not listened to the previous episode, the one right before the one that you're currently listening to or watching right now, you have to go back and watch it or you won't understand. And so now we can jump in and I can tell you that I have lots to talk about today, Sadie, with you. Let me just tell you that I think that you've lost my trust. So I don't know that.
Well, it's not like this is the first time I've done this to you.
No, that was the most epic one for sure. I was thinking about that last night and I was thinking about, man, yeah, you've done shit to me before, but this one was I don't even know if it was well thought through or if you just were able to pull it off and it just worked out very well. I don't know. You'll have to explain your thought process and we'll get to that. But one, you've lost my trust. I don't know that I can trust that anything that happens on this podcast is real now.
I understand.
And two, you're going to need to talk to the audience so that they understand that this is a one-time thing so that every time we have a guest, they don't believe that it's an actor.
You're right. I would like to first, Shawn, apologize to you for my actions. First of all, it went off without a hitch. It's just, I hired a psychic. Actually, he didn't even charge me, which was so cool.
How did he not charge you? What do you mean he didn't charge you?
At the end, I'm like, okay, that was amazing. What do I owe you? And he's like, no, don't worry about it. I think he got so much joy out of messing with you that was all that he wanted. And so someone that I know in the arts, and I thought I got to find somebody who could I pick that I know could pull off pretending to be a psychic. And I kept thinking, and I'm going through like my phone and I'm looking at it because my idea was I want to have a psychic on, but I want that psychic to tell Shawn bad things and me good things.
So you never wanted a real psychic on. It wasn't like you tripped in and somebody was like, hey, I could do this for you. And you're like, oh, that sounds funny. I really wanted a real psychic. For the person. No, I know, but you wanted a fake one from the beginning. You never wanted a real psychic.
No, I did want a real one, but I kept thinking how, and I hope I can figure it out, but how could we have a real psychic on where it would be super interesting? And because, I don't know what they would read you, they would read me. Does the audience even care about what I mean, I don't know.
Well, let me start by saying they weren't going to read me. That was never supposed to be a thing. And so like looking back on this is the way that this was pulled off. I'm just like, how did you know that I was going to agree to that? Because what if I would have shut it down? What if I would have said, no, you're not going to pull cards on me? Because I in my mind, that's what I was going to do. But it was so smooth the way that he snuck it in that
watching the video back for editing, I died laughing because you were just like, yeah, I guess all right, let's do it. And then, it was like such a smooth transition. So his name is Joel, and
that's really his name.
Amazing. Yeah, that he used his real name. So we were worried yesterday, like what if, or the day before yesterday, before we recorded it, we were like thinking of all these things where he's like, what if he looks at my email and it says nothing at the bottom, like Joel's, so-and-so psychic extraordinaire. So he was going to change his like everything, because I'm like, okay, this is going to be a hard one to pull off. And so the night before we did it, we went through everything. And I'm like, I don't want it to be too scary. Like, I don't want you to go into like exorcism mode where you're like, your mom's with me or something awful.
I
And
can't
so
believe that I fell for it. Because now looking back, there were some things that should have been red flags. But in the moment, you don't think about that. So I need to call out a few people, and I'm not going to call them out by name, but there are some people, four to be exact. Four people wrote me this morning after they listened to yesterday's episode where I got
I'm
pranked. And they were like, dude, how did you not know? You're so gullible. Now, hold on. I really wish that I kind of wish that you would have not told anybody until after they watched it, because I think if you watch it with different eyes or listen to it with
You're
different ears,
right.
you
There
would
were a couple
understand how,
times
like, he
there
seemed legit. In the moment, there was not one piece of me, not ever one time did I ever think this guy's not legit. Not one time did I
you
think,
are so
"Hmm,
gullible.
I wonder if Sadie set this guy up and he's an actor." Not one time did that even somewhat cross my mind. The entire 48 minutes that we talked to this guy, I believe that he was a legit person
Yeah,
practicing
he did a
whatever.
really good job drawing you in slowly because yeah, before Sean's like, I don't want any part of this. This is all you. And then so I told Joel, I'm like, this may just be a bust. He may write like he may call this out and be like, this is not. And then you didn't, and it kept going. And I was like, the clock doesn't matter. 30 minutes, be damned. And poor Sean is like, I think you did get emotional when your dog got brought up. And then I felt like a complete jerk.
I don't
Because
know that
if you watch the
I didn't
video,
necessarily get emotional. I just was like, damn. I was really caught off guard by that because I was
and
like,
you
dude,
thought it was
he was
real.
doing that's how he drew me in. Because at that point, I was still, no, you're not doing any of this shit to me. It's not
Yeah.
happening. And he's doing a reading to you, and I'm just watching. I'm a spectator, and all of a sudden, he's like, I'm really getting these vibes, and I'm really hearing this name Chief over and over and over again. And I was like, maybe my dog is talking to this guy, and maybe I should talk to my dog back, and it's only going to happen through this guy. So that's how it happened. That's how I was drawn in.
Well, I told
I
him,
guess
like,
here's what I thought. Here's the one thing that I thought that would have been like, this guy isn't legit. I didn't think that he was an actor. I thought that he was still a psychic or claiming to be a psychic. And I'm like, you know what he did? He went through my social media and he looked at some
no,
stuff.
I
It
gave
doesn't
him
take
all
a
the
whole lot of
info.
time. Well, yeah, now
I
I know
gave
you
him
did, but at
all,
that
I
point, I was
know.
like, a good psychic, if you're gonna lie and you're gonna make some money by tricking people, you would be smart to go research them. And we live in an era now where it's really easy to research people because
Totally.
you can go to their Facebook page and you can see everything about them, and you can slowly like, oh,
Pick
your
out
dog
little
died 7
things.
months. His name was Chief because you wrote it on your Facebook page. Chief's gonna talk to me today.
Yeah, that's so
And so
true. In this
I
day and
did think
age,
about
it's
that.
harder to be a psychic. But Mystic Joel was so good.
He was good. I gotta give it
And
up to Joel. I would have I mean, I'm not easily mad. You're not gonna make me mad, but I'm less mad or even irritated at the whole situation that I got punked, because Joel was great. Like, I don't know where Joel works, and maybe you can talk to people about that more. Joel should be in Hollywood.
Joel is so good.
He did
Oh
so,
my,
like, the whole none of this, the thing that, like, we're not tricking you like Sadie tricked me yesterday. None of this was planned. So the
I
beginning
can't
of the
believe
whole
it
thing,
worked.
I said Ouija boards, and he's like, "Man, I got one right here." And like, all of this was just like perfect.
And he was wearing a shirt that said The Craft, which is
Oh,
a
I
movie
know. I
about
saw.
witches. And I
I
was
knew from
like,
the beginning.
this is so good. And
His
like,
whole
and
room
then
was
it
decorated in like satanic psychic shit. Did he
I
have
don't
to?
know.
He must have spent money. I hope you send him some money, even though he didn't want it. He deserves some money.
Well, again, he works, he does stuff with theater. And so I'm sure he
So he
just
already doesn't
was
make a lot
able
of money.
to.
So give him some money.
I know. You know what? I'll just Venmo him some money
Yeah.
because he
You have his
did
Venmo?
so good. Well, I'm
You
sure
have
I
his
could he
Venmo?
used his real name. Huh?
That's true. Look him up. You need to give him money.
Yeah, I agree with that. Now, pivoting, Sean, I just have to say, You are such a good sport. I came up with this idea like 2 months ago, and I have to call out a mutual friend because I ran it by him prior, and I'm like, "What do you think? How do you think this could you think this could work?" And it's our friend Garner, and he said, "That's an
Oh, that
amazing
son of a
idea."
bitch. That son of a bitch. I am going. He's a little man too. I'm gonna beat his ass. How did I know that he was involved in this? Because last night that came to mind. Yesterday was his birthday, and I was texting him last night, and the universe spoke to me for real, not like Joel. It spoke to me, and it was like, I wonder if Garner had anything to do with the bullshit that happened to me earlier today as I texted him happy birthday yesterday. And what do you know?
It was just a sandwich that all the layers came together. So, thank you for him. He kind of was the one that was like, "Yeah, this can totally work." And I'm like, "All right, okay." Yeah.
The last time I got punked like this, he was involved.
No, somehow, and we don't even work with him anymore. Yet I still go to the well, and I do gauge some stuff by him. Like, do you think this would be cool, or would that be dumb? And he's super honest, where he'll be like, "No, that's dumb," and I'm like, "All right." He's kind of got the same humor as us. So pivoting for real this time.
Hold on, I have one more thing to say before we wrap up this whole thing for good. Are you ready for this? Because this is the most important statement that I've made in, I don't know, whatever you call recap.
And I feel like I deserve it.
Yes, you do.
Think I deserve
and this is aimed directly towards you. And I'll actually throw Garner in the mix with what I'm about to say. Karma is a bitch, and I'm already planning. The planning has already begun. There are people who listen to this podcast who are really excited to be a part of helping me plan too.
Oh, you know what? I deserve it. You're right.
Yep.
Karma is real, and I'm gonna get screwed. And I got to keep my eyes open, and I know I'm gonna get
As
screwed.
Joel said yesterday, there's nothing you can do to change the future. So don't be worried every day. Don't be looking over your shoulder because it's happening no matter what. You can't stop the car wreck at this point.
It's gonna be wow. That's pretty serious.
Right,
can we pivot now? Now you've put intense fear into my soul.
After I threatened you.
Okay, like every other show. My mom did it. Again, this is something that we talked about a couple episodes ago. But I'll give you a recap. My mom went to the Chad Day for some reason. She says to me, "Sadie, do you know who Chad Daybell is?" And I said, "It sounds familiar, but I don't know where I know it." And then it hit me, the documentary Sins of the Mother or whatever on Netflix. And it's this guy who was like a prophet that he thought he was a prophet.
He's a religious
he was an extremist.
Yeah.
And he got this woman sucked in, and she ended up killing her kids. It is the most seriously screwed up story.
It's a jacked up story.
It's jacked up.
Now he's on trial in Idaho, and your mom went.
My mom
went. Even though she has nothing to do with any of this.
We have no ties to any of this, as I've said before. Zero. And so she said, "I'm going to sit behind him, and I'm going to give him dirty looks." And I said, "You're going to fly to Idaho, and you're going to go and get a hotel just so you can show up and give Chad Daybell dirty looks?" She said, "I am." And I said, "Mom, first of all, that's a small courtroom. Like, how do they let people in?" And she said that when she got there at 5 a.m, and there were 300 people waiting to get in.
And how many get in?
30.
So how does it work? Is it a lottery, or is it the first one there?
I think it's first come, first serve.
Well, if there was already 300 when she got there, she didn't get in, right?
She got there, but there ended up being, when they opened the doors at 8 a.m. There were 300 people, and so anyway, she got in, and I shit you not, she sat right behind Chad Daybell, and she fucking gave him daggers. And I know this because I watched on court TV.
You could hear her?
No, she giving daggers means like stank face, like.
Oh, I thought daggers were like, "You some bitch."
Insults?
Yeah.
You son of a bitch. I would love to have sound on that. I mean, there's sound, but you just hear the lawyers talking and,
As
stuff
we
like
talked
that,
about
but
before, I assume if she calls him if she says, "Chad Daybell, you got a small penis," she's probably gonna get kicked out. And then you waited in line for a long
yeah.
time, and you got lucky to get in, and now you're out.
Yeah.
So,
It was like all the stars
daggers makes
aligned.
more sense, yeah.
Yeah, so she wanted to give him stank eye, so she flew to Idaho. I really wanna be her one day when I retire. Just see a documentary and be like, "That son of a bitch, Ryan, call United."
And so, is there multiple days of this trial, or is it one day and she's back and it's over?
She just went for one day, and then she flew home. And so I talked to her and I'm like, was it like, and she said it was incredibly fascinating. And I said, "Well, I don't want you to tell me too much because Shawn mentioned that he wants to ask you some questions."
Is
And
she gonna do it?
yeah, she's totally cool.
Alright.
She's now planning a trip to Arizona because the mom, that's where her trial is. My mom's flying to Arizona to go to the woman's trial now. She gonna give her stank eye. She got some stank eye money in the bank that she could spend. I wish
I
I could
guess.
do that.
Do you
Anyway,
think that
so
it's
that's
affecting these people? Well, these are questions I'll ask your mom. I shouldn't ask you these
yeah,
questions
don't
because you
ask
don't
me
know.
because
But I really do
yesterday
wonder, like, I'll set the stage, and, like, the main thing I wonder is, like, are you I guess it's cool to be able to sit there if you got nothing better to do, but, like, are you accomplishing anything?
oh my god, ask my mom that. Ah! My
I can't
mom
wait.
is like where I learned. My mom, it should explain to you, she flew different she's flying to different states to stank eye people. That should tell you a lot about where I came from. And so I want you to ask her that. Did you even accomplish anything? She'll be
I
like,
will.
young man. Okay, I can't wait.
I'm
Let's
not
book it
knocking her,
today.
by the way, and I'll tell her this too. I'm not questioning her decisions. I'm wondering if in her mind she feels like she accomplished anything. Like, do you feel like Chad Daybell saw you and he was like, "Oh, I really pissed off that lady right there, and now when I rot away
I
in
don't
prison, I'm gonna
know.
think about that shitty face that she gave me." Because if that doesn't happen, then I feel like you didn't accomplish anything.
Yeah, but I mean, she got out with some friends and they were able to go and sit at a trial. I mean, they sat all day. They sat all day in a courtroom and it was on court TV. And
Well, that's
so,
cool, and it's more high profile, but I think about jury duty, that sounds like jury duty to me. That sounds like a lot of work
yeah, but I
to
do think
be
this would be
jury
fascinating.
duty.
Don't you think this, you love murder documentaries? That's like your
Yeah,
favorite. Don't you think it would
don't
be kind of cool to like be there in the courtroom? Like,
no,
oh my
not in the
God, if you could.
courtroom.
What if I were a juror on the OJ trial? His ass would have gone to the chair.
No, you don't get to pick. Yeah, unfortunately for you, everyone has to be in agreement, and everyone might
I
not agree
know.
with you, Sadie. Somebody might have
But
said
with the
that glove
passion
didn't
that
fit.
I felt at that time, oh my God, I could have convinced anyone. Yeah, so
Some of these
that's kind of,
situations, I feel like it's just a waste of taxpayer dollars. Like, we know Chad Daybell was involved in this. Can we just fucking
yeah, what are we
electrocute him already?
doing? Oh, and I also think that child molesters and rapists should just be one offense, cut your dick off. Bye. That
Yeah,
should just
and we
kind
should
of
get to
be.
watch. Like, there should be a box and a sword that is like, this is the box and this is the sword that gets used, and everyone, if you wanna watch, it's gonna be very graphic, but if you wanna watch, you get to, and so put your wiener on the box, get the sword, and let's chop it off right on court TV. It would probably make people think twice.
Oh my God, there'd all of a sudden be like Pepsi commercials, and it would be like this hot new sexy channel if that's the court TV, if that's how things were done.
I
I
mean,
would
there's
love to
nothing
be the one
sexy
that
about that, though.
stretches the penis out so you could really get a good swipe and get it all right to the nubs. You know what I mean?
No, you gotta get
That
the
in a
whole thing, yeah.
now, and there are
Actually, you know
some
what you
kind.
should do? In those scenarios, the more I think about it, this is brutal, but this is the way it should be. It shouldn't
Go.
be just one whack. It shouldn't be just clean off. It should be like you're cutting hot dogs to put in macaroni and cheese, like little slices, like, psst.
Oh, are you gonna make him eat his wiener in a macaroni
No,
and cheese?
I mean, yeah, if you wanna make it just even that much more brutal, yeah, put them little wiener slices in the mac and cheese and make him eat it. All right, we're done with this conversation.
No, we're not, because you know what I'm thinking? In a perfect world, you know, when you see video footage of like a bunch of people breaking into a store and just stealing things. I think I had heard somewhere that you could just steal up to a certain amount and they can't even stop you walking out of the store.
I
But
have a friend who
anytime
was a manager at Walgreens, and he literally quit his career at Walgreens. He'd worked there for like, and I know it's kind of funny, it's fine, it's Walgreens, but he'd worked there for like
I
30
love
some years.
Walgreens.
So he had like seniority was really high. He was getting really good health benefits, and he was getting like $18 an hour compared to his 11 when he started. And like it was going really well for him. He quit
Yeah.
because he got so tired of people telling him, his uppers, that he couldn't stop these people that would just come in and take whatever they
And
need
they
and walk
walk
right
in
out.
and they could just look right at the cashier and
And
be
yeah,
like,
he's told
"Hi."
he cannot even, let alone stop them. He cannot say anything like, "You're a piece of shit," or "Hope you
Oh,
enjoy
he
that
can't say
toilet
you're
paper." No, if you even say, "Hey, dude, just making sure you know you didn't pay for that, like in case you forgot, I'm over here, come pay me." He can't nothing. He cannot say anything,
That's
and it drove him so
so
crazy
crazy.
watching this every day that he quit his 30-year Walgreens career.
Can we talk to him in our interview series? Because that's, like,
Oh, he's a
insanely
fun guy. I'd love to
interesting.
have him. His name's Larry.
Okay.
Larry's quite the character. He
Larry
would be
needs to
fun.
come on and tell us about, because I find that so crazy. Like, you can't call the cops. You can't. I mean, I guess when I was like 7, I walked down the street. It was a different time, folks. I walked down the street, a busy street, to go to this gas station, and I stole a Butterfinger. And my mom walked my ass back, and it was like, tell him what you did. And I should have ate the Butterfinger on the way home before she was going, but I didn't. And so I gave the Butterfinger back. And that just put this like that's like a core memory for me. And so, I mean, I just couldn't imagine like walking into somebody's business, especially I get super sad when it's like just like a small business. It's just these are business owners, and then people are throwing chairs through windows and just walking in and taking stuff. It's like madness. It really is. As you'll hear from my mother, who is a bowl of cherries, it's the end of times.
I don't know that it's the end of times. It's just sad times. It's sad to watch that sort of stuff happen. But those aren't offenses, because I feel like this transitioned from people who are like child molesters that were going to chop their wieners into
Well, this
like
is the thing in
macaroni.
some countries.
You can't chop, like, this isn't the same. We're not
No, but
saying
listen,
that this
in
is the
some
same crime.
countries, let me talk. In some countries, they cut your hands off if you steal. If you
They
steal
still
something,
do.
yes, they do. If it's a goat, they'll cut your damn hands off. I think we need to catch people and cut their hands off. If we're going to live in a world of peace and love, we got to cut more hands off.
Well, you at least got to arrest somebody. If you just say it's fine, they're going to keep doing it. I can tell you that much. If I go in and I steal a Butterfinger and the dude at Walgreens is like, "Yeah, have a good day, sir. I hope you enjoy that Butterfinger," I'm going to come back and I'm going to get two the next day. You're going to have to do
How many
something to stop
sir,
them.
Walgreens employee, how many Butterfingers could I take before you can tell me I'm an asshole?
None.
37? All right, give me 37 or give me
We're
36.
Yeah, right. We're in Colorado. This was a story, and I don't want to quote it too because I'm quoting it loosely. I don't know the whole details of the story, but it wasn't that long ago at a King Soopers grocery store where an employee tried to stop a robber. They were taking a whole cart of groceries out, and the employee was like, "Hey, you didn't pay for those. You need to pay for those." And he tried to stop him and got fired.
Yes, I know someone who worked at a gas station, and he said that they are told if you try to stop somebody, you will automatically be fired. Like, and that's for every extreme. Like, if you try to stop somebody walking out with a Twinkie that they didn't pay for, or if they're threatening you and going to shoot you with a gun, your job is to just give them money and that's it. Like, stores don't want the bad press of that kind of stuff. They want it to just go away so people don't feel unsafe.
Well, I think also it goes back to like if homeboy's robbing Twinkies and you try to stop him and he pulls out a gun and he shoots you, then it's like a liability on the store, not just bad press,
Yeah,
but it's a liability. They got to help out your family now because you've been shot. And so it's easier, it's less money on them to have $25 in Twinkies get stolen than it is to pay your $25,000 medical bill because you tried to stop the
that's
Twinkie
true.
stealer and he shot you. And so it's a shitty state that we're in. I don't think that that's the problem. Like I think about the division in our country too, and we don't talk politics on here, and this has nothing to do with that. But like we get so far removed from the normal and what is right, and it whether it be the division in our country or people robbing stuff, we get so far away from that that it's almost impossible in my mind to bring it back. Like, how do you bring it back to what it should be? Because we're so far gone
I don't
now,
think you
you
do.
can't
I
tell
don't
the
think
dude that
you
he
do.
can't rob Twinkies anymore because you've let him now for too long.
And I mean, like I said, when I stole that Butterfinger and I got marched back, and I'm sure my dad spanked the shit out of me when he got home. Because when you heard wait till your father gets home, that was a death sentence. You knew you were gonna die. You hoped that it would happen early in the morning, so maybe she'd soften throughout the day and it wouldn't be, but I mean, and we you didn't steal. You just didn't. So again, like I said, cut more hands off. Let's cut down on the crime. Cut some dicks off of those pedophiles. And if you're a lady pedophile, I'm not sexist. Cut her boobies off.
Yeah,
It
that's
kind of
true.
won't be the same though.
I'm
You
sure it
know,
wouldn't feel good.
you're right. I mean, people need to be scared. Nobody's scared anymore.
Well, that's just
Um,
it. You can go murder people now and you go on trial and you pretend that well, I guess that happened in the 90s, so that's 30 years ago and it doesn't matter, but you pretend that a glove doesn't fit and you're off. Like, just
yeah,
walked
that's
away
so
with
true.
murder and it's just and I'm not saying that I don't know, our judicial system is not necessarily broken because I not smart enough to fix it, but like,
I've
you know.
seen some stuff where I'm like, wait a second. But again, I'm also not an expert myself. So who am I, right, Shawn?
Well, you're an expert prank artist. I will give you that because it was good and it still weighs on my mind.
Well, I really need you to lump Garner in on this because
Oh, I'm
I don't want
gonna
to be the only one that gets screwed over. And it's fair. Again, if you come back at me and I'm gonna be, well, it depends on what you do. What are you gonna do, Shawn? You got
well,
any
I would never
ideas?
physically harm you, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, but I don't want to be okay. I gotta take it because I gave it. I gotta take it. So give me your best shot. Don't make me cry. Are you gonna make me cry?
I don't know what kind of things make you cry.
Give me some examples.
If all of a sudden I brought somebody on there and they were talking about your dog that just died that you were really close to a few months ago, would that make you cry?
It made you cry. Oh my god. And this is the name of the show, Sadie and Shawn Have No Friends. Let's end the show today. We got to thank our friends at Talent Co Real Estate, Shawn, because they do such amazing work. Amy is the owner. Go to homeandnoco.com. We love them because they are our presenting sponsor, and without them, why we wouldn't be able to do these fun activities. And so thank you so much. And that's how you can repay us is if you're thinking about selling, if you're thinking about buying, um, why not call Amy at Talent Co Real Estate?
I know we say it
Shawn?
a lot, but one of the reasons that we love Amy the most, outside of just like the job that she does and how good she does, she's one of us, and so she talks like us, she acts like us, she has fun with everything. And I don't know about you, but I don't want some stiff in a suit that I can't relate to doing one of the biggest business transactions that I'll ever make, and that is buying and selling a house. I want somebody I'm comfortable with, somebody that I can laugh with and makes the situation a lot easier, and that's what Amy and her team do, and that's why we love her.
Okay, so we're going to end it homeandnoco.com. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on all the social media. Oh, and you can find this show as a podcast on Spotify or Apple, or again, you can find the actual video on Facebook and YouTube. Just search for Sadie and Shawn Have No Friends. Bye.